Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all good today. I'm delighted to be joined by Shane Guna, and today we're going to chat a bit about everything. Obviously, you guys will know the Champions League draws out. We'll probably discuss a bit about that at the start, but obviously, big up to Shane Guna. Thank you so much for coming on my channel. How are you doing today?
Yeah, all good. Absolutely. First off, thanks for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure. Big up to everybody in the chat. Big up to everybody who's watching. And yeah, looking forward to getting into it. There is a lot to talk about: transfers, Champions League. It's all that start of the season excitement that always comes when everything seems to be coming at once. But yeah, it's a good place to be in. It's a good place to be in, seeing your team in the Champions League and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to getting into what we have to talk about.
Yeah, talking on the draw, luckily for us, we just managed to see it before we came on here. But how do you feel about it? We've obviously got, I think it's a winnable sort of group we've got. You obviously got Bayern there, Inter Milan. How do you feel about it? Are you content with it, or how are you feeling?
Yeah, it kind of gives me vibes of last year. Last year we had a couple of tough games early, and then there was a run of what you would call winnable games. Club Brugge, Olympiacos at home, Prague away, and Almaty at home, the team that somehow beat Celtic. So, there's 4 games there that you would go, right, well, we should definitely win them and then get points out of the other. So I'd be stunned if Arsenal don't get top 8. I'd imagine that they should be getting top 8 out of that. It's a very, very good draw compared to some of the ones that other teams got. I'd take that all day long.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a bit relieved. Bayern Munich's a team. I think it'd be good to get a bit of revenge on them. They did knock us out. I think it was the quarterfinals, and we don't have a great history with them generally.
No.
But it would be good to beat them. I think every game is going to be tough. There's a few winnable games, obviously. Let me know what you guys think of this. Liverpool, I think, have got quite a tough one. I think I'm happy. Like I said, I'm content. Yeah, big up to Jembo. I'm content. Big up. Yeah, I think it's a fairly decent draw. Obviously, guys, those are watching, let me know as well. How you guys are feeling about the draw, and I'm more than happy to bring up any questions or comments. But yeah, I think, like I said, I think for us, I think it'd be good as well. Getting back in the Champions League again, because I think this season we do have to win something really big, whether that's the league, the Champions League. So obviously, guys, I will come up and bring up any questions or comments you have during the show. Obviously as well, I wanted to ask you a bit about the transfer window, because we've done a lot of business. At the start it was going fast. It sort of stopped a bit, and then we started to bring more players in now. How do you feel about things? Because like I said, we've brought in so many amazing players now, and obviously, like I said, this is a really big season for Arsenal.
Yeah, well, it's last chance saloon for Arteta, which he's had long enough at this stage, and he's been given to players. And I'm glad that Bert has come in and said, well, you're getting players regardless, because the season before we had gone for Sesko, it had fallen through. He said he wanted to stay a year, and instead of saying to him, right, well, we'll go get you another striker, they let him go a whole year without one, and we really got cut out last season. So I'm glad that this season, when we couldn't get Sesko, Bert just went, you know what, you're getting a striker regardless. Here you go. You do what you can with him. The Madueke one's still a bit questionable for me. It's a lot of money. Zubimendi is a good player, very good player. Is he a Thomas Partey? I'm not so sure. He's a different type of player, so we'll give him time. But Eze, another wonderful player that we've gotten in, but again, he's going to be put out the wing, I'd imagine, but still, he's better than what we have. But look, the squad's big now. We've heard that Kai Havertz is getting surgery today, which was always coming. I fear that Saka will be the same at some point in the season. The injuries are going to pile up again. But as far as the transfer window goes, I don't think any of us could have seen this. We all said things like, we need 8, we need 9, we need 7, never thinking it would happen. And now that it's happened, we have to then put that aside and go, right, well, there's no more complaining anymore. Now we just have to go for it. Yeah. Once we sort of lose the excuses, then it's easier to move on. But it's a very good transfer window, to be fair. He needs to get rid of a few players now, but as for incomings, very happy.
Yeah, I've been, to be honest with you, I've been surprised actually with some of the players, especially Eze. Like when we, it's really hard because we were definitely interested in Eze. Then he was pretty much going to go to Spurs, and now getting Eze's been massive for us. I'm so happy about that signing. Obviously, Gyökeres as well. I'm with you with Madueke. I hope he does well. I'm sure he will add something to the team, but I don't think he was a lot of our first choice sort of signings to come in. But I'm with you. I think now we have to definitely move some players on. I mean, players like Vieira, Lokonga, Zinchenko,
Yeah.
etc. Obviously, Reece Nelson. There was an announcement about him potentially going to Crystal Palace for 15 million. What did you make of that? Do you think that's a good amount of money for him?
At this stage, yeah, I think any money, simply because he's on 100 grand a week, and 100 grand a week is a lot of money. People seem to they get a bit caught up in the transfer fee, but when these players are on massive wage, the transfer fee is the second most important, and getting rid of them is first, because when you start adding up their wage over a year, over 2 years, over getting in new signings, if you want to get in apparently Zubimendi's only on 75 grand a week. I mean, that means he's on 25 grand less than Nelson. So you have to get rid of these players, because you'll have other people coming in and saying, well, I want 200 grand a week. Well, you're not getting that. And you go, well, there's a guy you're not even using that's on such and such. So it is a matter of getting them out. But I'd take 15 million for Nelson all day long. It's not what he's worth. If they can get a fully fit Nelson going at Palace, and Glasner can get the best out of attacking players, I'd be happy for him to do well there, though. That's the thing. I'd wish him well. I hope he goes and does well, because he's never been anything but professional with us. But I'd take 15 million for Nelson all day long. I'd take it.
Yeah, I mean, I think with some of the other players, like, Vieira, Lokonga, they're a lot harder to kind of sell. But with Reece Nelson, I've said pretty much he does have potential. It's just he's not been able to get in this team, and I think if he was still here, he probably wouldn't be getting much minutes. So I think I'm with you. I do wish him well. I think he'll do great at Crystal Palace. I think that's probably where his level's at. And Crystal Palace has definitely come a long way, and that's credit to them. So I think it would be a good move. Obviously, we've still got certainly for players. Like, do you expect us to maybe see any more outgoings with like Vieira, Lokonga? I mean, Zinchenko is another one that's gone a bit weird. I mean, I thought he was going to go, but I honestly have no idea what's happening with him right now.
I think Zinchenko's going to see out his contract. I can see that in him. Yeah. He sends money back over to Ukraine and stuff like that for the war effort and stuff, but he's not going to get 150 grand anywhere else. I think he's going to sit it out. He might look at the left back situation and say, you never know, a couple of injuries, I might get a couple of games. But I think he's happy enough to sit it out, then go off to Fenerbahce, something like that, get a 10 million signing on fee and just ride off into the sunset. Kivior looks like he's gone.
Yeah.
Which I mean, for me, he's never been it. I think getting in cover for him is fine by me. And Fabio Vieira is very hard to sell. As for Sambi Lokonga, I think his contract will just be ripped up at some point. I don't see anyone paying for him. We just have to bite the bullet on that one. The only thing with him is that he's only on like 40 grand a week or something, so it's not like he's eating away at our wages. But there's a lot of sort of unused wage there now. We can start adding Havertz to that. If he's getting surgery again, it'd be another year of paying him 280 grand a week for nothing. But Bert is doing a great job so far. If he gets the outgoings done and gets the contract sorted, I mean, it'd be going down as a perfect job, really.
Yeah, I mean, it makes what Eddie's done look absolutely rubbish. I mean,
it's
honestly crazy. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't know much about Berta, but he's come in and he's absolutely brought in the right signings, and he's done all the right things. I think as well, as you've mentioned, it's hard really for some of these players to go for a big amount of money. Obviously, wages are a problem, injuries. You're not going to want a player that's injured all the time. So I think that's another difficult one. There was a question here I want to bring up actually. Be up Ron, after Sesko's last game, are you glad he never came to Arsenal?
Yeah, look, I never wanted him in the first place. I don't think he's terrible. I just don't think he's it. I think he's, a lot of people are concentrating on the penalty shootout, and rightly so, that he took the very last penalty possible when a kid that age against Grimsby should be saying, give me the first penalty. I want to smack it in. I want to show what I can do. But it just shows the level of pressure at Manchester United. It's a different type of pressure. That club has crushed many, many players bigger than him. It's crushed, Casemiro. It's crushed all these guys that have won Champions Leagues. That club is massive, massive, massive pressure. But I didn't want Sesko for a couple of reasons. One, I knew it was just Havertz 2.0. I knew he could be used in the same way. We could just hoof the ball forward and play the exact same tactics, which we're never going to win a league doing. And getting Gyökeres has forced Arteta he's going to have to switch his tactics up, which he's never done. But I think Arteta knows this season he's on borrowed time. So I think we might see it. I'm looking out more for in games now, him making decisions that he wouldn't normally make. The first one I saw was Leeds. When Odegaard went down, I thought, right, he's got to bring on Marino. But he brought on Nwaneri, and I thought, okay, he wouldn't have done that last season. He would have brought on Marino. But, Now we need to see him making decisions that suit the team. And maybe with the pressure, he will. But that's why I didn't want Sesko. I thought Sesko was an Arteta signing. He waited a whole year for him. So when there's a lot of Arsenal fans coming out now and they're jumping on United and they're slagging him about Sesko and they're slagging him about this and that, and you just have to go, well, hang on a second, your manager waited a whole year to get him, and when it fell through, we just have to thank our lucky stars Leipzig played hardball, or he'd be running around up front for us. But sometimes football's weird like that sometimes, it's just circumstance does it. And now we've got Gyökeres, who still has to prove himself, by the way. Let's all, we need to remember that it's a tough league and he can get injured and all the stuff. But no, I never wanted Sesko. I didn't want any more projects. I didn't want any more. I wanted a striker that was over the age of 25, that's been there, done it. You come straight in, and then we're done. But look, I feel for the kid. United is a tough place to play. Tough place to play.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I know we were linked to him at the start, Sesko, and it looked like we were going to get him, and then we got Gyökeres, and I mean, I'm with you. I much preferred Gyökeres, and obviously Gyökeres has still got to prove himself. And I think Arteta does like those project players, like players that might be struggling. He wants to show that he can be a hero in a way and get the best out of them. But sometimes you just need players that are going to just give you that instant impact, that are going to change us. I mean, Eze is a great example because I think he's going to be a game changer, and that's not really a player I think Arsenal would have signed. Arteta would have signed maybe last year. I think as well. I mean, a lot of people do question whether or not Eddie put his foot down enough, and I think we're seeing now that Berta is probably making a few of his own signings, because I think you can sort of tell which signings perhaps have been Arteta's. I think obviously Madueke has definitely been that one, but I think Berta, as you mentioned, has done a really good job, and I think he's putting his foot down, and he's only been here a short period of time, so I think we're going to do good. Obviously as well, we've got the game against Liverpool coming up. At the moment, how do you feel about that? Because obviously, Saka's injured. I'm not sure about Odegaard, but we've still got, Eze or Waneri to play there. But how do you think we could go there and get a win?
First off, I just want to, what you were saying there is absolutely spot on, by the way, and a great way of looking at it, a level-headed way of looking at it. It is clear to see the signings that were Berta, and he has come in, I think, and being told, look, try and get the lowest price you can for here's Mikel's targets. Try and get the lowest price you can. If you're really not sold on one of them, change it up. And if you can't get his original target, then you pick the next one. So that's what happened with Gyökeres. He couldn't get Sesko. He went and got Gyökeres. I think Madueke, I'm with you. That's an Arteta signing all over. You can see it. Norgard, Kepa. I think Kepa, he thought, right, grand, I'll get him in. Apparently he's on 75 grand a week. There was rumours of 100 grand. 75 grand a week is fine. It's a lot less than I thought. Get him in. He'll do a job. That's good. That's Kepa could be a bit of Berta to me. I'll get him in. I'll get him cheap. But you're right. He is putting his foot down. And I think that's why a lot of stories now are being released or leaked, mistakenly leaked, even though they're purposely leaked by Arsenal to the press, that Arteta wanted Berta, and I tell you, he didn't want him. He did not want anyone coming in to tell him what to do. It might end up doing it. Sometimes people don't know what's best for them, and it could end up that getting in Berta is the best thing that ever happened to Arteta, because he'll push them to actually winning, and then you might appreciate him. But it's a very, very good way of looking at it. There is signings there that are Berta's. There's times he's put his foot down. Maybe they'll clash down the line, who knows? Or if they have, they've kept it behind closed doors. But I just thought I'd touch on that because it was a great point. But Liverpool, do you know what's funny? Just like the few days before the season, we were going through the first 6 fixtures, and we were all down in the dumps, because regardless of signings, regardless of anything, we thought, well, even when Eze came in, we're saying, well, he's going to play him out the left, and we know Odegaard will play no matter what. And I can see Havertz starting against United, and I can see it, right? But he seems to have made a couple of decisions that went against us. And we had it as draw against United, is what we predicted. Just scrape a win against Leeds and then lose to Liverpool. But now when I was talking to the same people, we're going, I think we're going to draw. I think we're going to draw. I don't see us winning, because I don't think Arteta will go there to win. And that worries me more. I got pelters on my stream for saying, and I said, I didn't say this is what I wanted. I said, do you know what? I'd almost, at this stage of the season, take us going at them for 80 minutes like Newcastle did, and just losing to a dagger in the end to show that our mentality's changed, that we're going to go to big teams now and attack them, than scrape a 0-0 draw where they're all over us, right? And we just somehow get a 0-0 draw. Well, I didn't say that's what I prefer. I said it was just, I'd almost prefer that, to show the mentality's changed. But if we do go there and draw, I don't want it to be just a set-piece goal and then we go 1-0 up and then sit back for 80 minutes and they score in injury time. I want us, if we take the lead, I want us to sit back, be careful at the back, but try and hit them on the counter attack, push forward when you can, try and score. And I want us to take the game to them. But I take a draw right now. I don't see us winning.
Yeah.
And I don't really see Liverpool winning. But I will say this though, if Liverpool do win, right, which I do think there is a good chance of it, I think it could be like a 3-1. I think they could just smash us for a 10-minute period, score a load, and then we'll just be shell-shocked. Because people forget this is Anfield. And people will say we haven't lost there in so long. We haven't won there in 13 years either. Like, you know what I mean? So we might not have lost there. We haven't won there in 13 years. So I'm looking forward to it. More so to just see if Mikel's attitude has changed. If he's going to come in with good tactics, with brave tactics, with brave substitutions, with a brave starting lineup, and then I'll judge him on that more than how the team plays. I think he's under the microscope more than the team right now, and I don't know how he'll deal with that. But listen, all he can do is win me over. All he can do is win Normski and all these other people that want him out. All he can do is win us over. It'll take a long time, but he'll have to keep making brave decisions. And that's he won me over in 22-23 for a period, and then he lost me again. But
yeah, it's just been like that with him, hasn't it?
We'll see what happens. I put it as a draw. And I think we'd do well to get a draw, but it depends on how we get the draw for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think we usually aren't too bad when we play teams like, I mean, recently teams like Man City and Liverpool. It's those teams that are down in the league, whether that's Fulham, Burnley, whoever.
Yep.
So I think like if we drew, and we want to win this, obviously. And you mentioned we've not won there since, I mean, like probably 2012, something like
2012,
that. Yeah, it's crazy how long that's been. I think as well. I mean, we know how tough it is at Anfield. A lot of these players have experience playing there. There's one thing I don't want Arteta to do that he's done before. I don't want him to get the Anfield crowd going. I think in this game we just have to focus on getting the job done, and that's why I worry, because he has done that at times. I mean, if Xhaka was here, I think he's had moments that got the crowd up. So I just hope we don't get the crowd up, because that'll be the worst thing for us.
Yeah, 100%. And the time he got the crowd up, ironically, was when he got the speakers in to play You'll Never Walk Alone in training, the famous moment. And then we went there, and after half an hour, we were all over them. And then he got in Klopp's face, turned the crowd, and we lost 4-0. And then the Xhaka one was the 22-23 season. We smashed them early, 2-0 up. Liverpool crowd was as quiet as I've ever heard it. Xhaka gets in Trent's face, gets the crowd up, and we end up just clinging on for a draw, where we probably would have won the league that season if we had got to win.
Yeah.
But there are those little moments. And again, and I'm glad you said that, because these are the moments that I'm watching him for now. Because he's been in Last Chance Saloon with me for a long time. But even with the people that want him in, they're kind of looking at him now going, you better do something this year. So I will be examining him. Will you make the right subs at the right? This is what you're paid for. This is what you're paid £15.6 million a year for, is to make the right decisions at the right time. You know, you look at Liverpool against Newcastle tonight. Newcastle were absolutely battering them. And when I've never seen a team before, especially playing the champions, when the board goes up and they're down to 10 men and the board goes up and says 11 minutes, that the crowd of the 10 men cheer like they want more time. I thought they would have booed, 11 minutes. We have to hold off for another 11 minutes. But Slot in that saw his team getting absolutely battered by Newcastle. And he made an attacking substitution where our manager would have gone defensive and taken the draw, and that's the difference between a winning manager and a not got there yet manager. So I'm glad you said that, because I do want to see us go there, be mature, but I want us to take the game to them, because the only way that you can stop that Anfield crowd is by not letting them have the ball. Just keep closing them down, pass it around, don't sideways pass, direct pass, try and have shots. Tell your players shoot if you get in range. Don't be afraid to take your player on. But Liverpool can be got at. Got at. But the only thing is that our defense, regardless of people saying it's the best in the country and stuff like that, and we haven't let a goal in, we can be got at as well the right way. We can be got at, especially by wingers that run at you. And Liverpool have a lot of players that can run at you. So we do need to be careful. It'll be a very, very interesting game. A very interesting game for the neutral. For me, not so much. I probably won't even sleep the night before, but that's standard operations over here.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that game when we go to Anfield. I mean, nowadays when we go there, we are going there to compete. We used to just go there and get, beaten 4-0. We should be competing anyway, but I think it would be a good state. I think it would be like a statement win if we did go over to Anfield and win. I do, however, think some people might get carried away and would think we're winning the league. I always say to everyone, you just got to take it a game at a time. I mean, when we were 10 points clear, I did think we would win the league actually at that point, because I thought, how can you mess that up?
I still haven't forgiven him. That's my problem. He got my hopes up. Every time I get my hopes up.
I think it's really weird that season, because when you're 10 points up, you think to yourself quietly, we're not messing this up now. And then next season it was a bit different, wasn't it, really? I mean, we did get closer last season as well. I wouldn't say we competed for the league. I don't think we did that. I think it was more, I think we were closer to top 4, weren't we, really?
Yeah.
But obviously, as we've got our new signings, do you think we're going to get closer to the league? Because I mean, I'm in agreement with you. We do have to win the league or the Champions League for me to say that Arteta needs more time. I mean, I know Arteta's here till I think it's 2027, but I just think for him to be here, he has to win something big for Arsenal.
He has to. But the thing is, at the very start of the summer, before the transfer window, I had us in 5th. Honestly, I had us in 5th because I can see the injuries. I can see, and if they've already begun, by the way, and Ben White, I think, is really hurt now. I think they're hiding how hurt he is, because we started looking for a right back. Ben White, first half of last season, the first 3 months he played on a knee injury for the whole 3 months, needed surgery. Saka didn't look right even before he got injured again. Now it's Havertz needs surgery. I think there's a good chance Rice will drop at some point. I don't think Gabriel's fit. I don't think Timber's fit. So there's a lot of stuff going on there that people don't realize how close we are to suddenly not having this squad everybody thinks we have. So I do worry with the way Newcastle haven't signed and the way Villa have started. I had them up and around us. I now have Tottenham up and around us. I still see, funnily enough, regardless of the signings, I still see Chelsea, City, and Liverpool ahead of us. And that's down to a lot of things, right? That's down to Chelsea have the winning mentality. They've had a quietly good transfer window. They're on the up. And I do think last season, regardless of injuries, I never use injuries or anything as an excuse. I just think everybody gets injuries and all that sort of stuff. I think if last season had gone on like another 3 weeks, that we would have finished 4th, because I think Chelsea and Newcastle would have caught us. We were really stumbling over the line, losing at home to Bournemouth and stuff like that. I'll know more. I'll tell you what, Sophie, I'll know more this season when we've lost our first game, how we react to it, right? So if we were to go and lose to Liverpool, God forbid, on Sunday, and then slip up at home to Forest, like drawn or something like that, then I go, right, we're just the same old Arsenal. We're just the same old Arsenal. We had a big win and then we tripped up. But if we go and beat them, and then don't slip up against Forest like we normally would under Arteta, win a big game and then slip up the next week against a Fulham or a Palace or something, I won't believe, but I will definitely think, I'm going to sit up and take notice of him now. So I right now, until he proves me wrong about 6 games, I just have to stick with us being in the top 4 fight. It sounds ridiculous after what we spent. It does. And I'll finish on this, actually, because the thing with Eze, I wanted Eze, I wanted Gyökeres, I wanted Cunha, and I wanted Mbeumo. They were the 4 where people asked me of attacking players, who would you want? I said some of them, 2 or 3 of them. We got 2 of them, which stunned me. I don't normally get the players I want as an Arsenal fan, and you know that yourself.
Yeah.
We always end up getting, you know what I mean? We always get. I like, they dangle like the expensive version in front of us, and then just at the very last minute they give us like the Aldi or the little version of it. But this season we've got the players we want. The only thing I will say about Eze is, as much as I love him, as much as I think he's a game changer, he takes the game by the scruff of the neck, we aren't really getting the number 10 Crystal Palace Eze, who goes where he wants, who shoots when he wants, who passes when he wants, and does whatever he feels like a proper number 10. We're getting an Eze, an Arteta Eze, who will be played out the left, made to track back, told what passes to play. He'll still do well. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather have him out there than Martinelli or Trossard or Madueke or any of these guys. But it's just, people need to prepare that it won't be that Eze, because he'll be under stricter rules, if you want to say. He'll be told what type of pass to play. Hopefully he just unlocks that and does. I think he'll be okay out there. And we have to worry as well that when he's inverting in really far, and then Calafiori starts averting, that whole side of the pitch is going to be empty for counterattacks. Don't be surprised that we get done a lot with balls over the top into our left back area, because there's going to be no one there. There won't be Martinelli covering for Lewis Skelly or Calafiori as left back. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm gone on a bit of a ramble there, but I do think I need to be proven over the next sort of 4 or 5 games that we aren't in a top 4 fight, and he needs to show me with the next 3 or 4 games, and then I'll reevaluate.
It is hard because it's so early on. I mean, our
Mm.
performance against United wasn't the most convincing. We did
No.
defend amazingly, but attacking wise, we didn't really do the best. Obviously, Leeds, we should really be beating them comfortably anyway. But obviously, it's nice going into this game this weekend, knowing that we put in a really good performance. Obviously, we've got tough fixtures coming up. I know we've got Nottingham Forest coming up, Man City. The one that I always hate, because at Newcastle, going to Newcastle, I think that's always one that gets us. So I think as well, it's hard to predict as well, because as you mentioned with Eze, I think Eze should definitely be playing in that Odegaard position. But it's difficult for Odegaard, because I think a few seasons back, he was decent. He was a good
Yeah, he was.
player.
Yeah.
He got us goals. He got, you could really see he was a big, playmaker in the team. But I think obviously last season, he wasn't great at all. He had injuries, but he never really came back to how he was. So I feel like this season, it's hard, because I like Odegaard, but I am thinking, is he going to get any better? And you've got the players like Eze in the team. I mean, Maneri as well. I know Maneri can play on the right as well, but it's definitely, you want to see him get his minutes that he deserves as well. But with Odegaard, I mean, obviously, for this weekend, I would just throw an Eze in there, to be honest with
Yeah.
you, for this game. But do you think Odegaard will ever get back to how he was, or do you just think maybe he's just not he's not there anymore?
I fear that he won't. Like Martinelli, I just think that
Yeah,
I think they need another team. I think they need to move. To see the Odegaard of 22, 23 when he was very, very good. Don't get me wrong, he was
yeah,
brilliant. If you watch back on the highlights of it, he was more central. He wasn't so far in. And every season's gone on, he's been gradually more pushed out
yeah,
to the right, where it's just his job now to get the ball, run forward, and then clip it out to Saka. That's his job. That seems to be his only job. Don't try anything crazy. Don't. He was given more freedom. He was given more freedom to shoot, more freedom to play through balls, and we played attacking football. So when he got the ball and turned on the halfway line, he had dart and runs from Xhaka, Martinelli, Saka, Jesus. He had many options to pick. Now we slowly move forward, and then wait, and even our forwards coming back into midfield, and our wing backs are going into midfield. And the only passes he has are sideways to sideways. So I think his confidence is absolutely shattered. I wanted him pulled out of the firing line last season. The second we went out of the Champions League, I was saying he needs to take him out of the firing line. He looked ill. You know what I mean? He looked
yeah,
with the pressure. And I thought, right, either tell the press that because apparently he does need an operation anyway. Maybe he's had it, but from what I've heard, he hasn't. But even just tell the people that he needs an operation. Pull him out for the last 5 games. Get him out of the firing line. Say go home, spend some time with your missus. Take it easy. Get fresh for next season. And there would have been a bonus to that as well, where he could have then played Zinchenko into 10, got his transfer value up, and sold him on. You know what I mean? Because that's
yeah,
where Zinchenko plays. So I don't know. I fear for him. I think it's gone. I think. Yeah, like Joseph was saying, Odegaard might just need a fresh voice to coach him. I think that too.
yeah,
I think if Martinelli went somewhere else, hopefully you'll see that the old Martinelli, because I'd wish him well. I want Martinelli to leave for
yeah,
himself, not for the money, not for getting the wages. I want him to, because I like Martinelli. He works so hard for the team. He'll start on Sunday, by the way. I think for the
yeah,
way he can track back. But Odegaard, I at this stage, I'd give him about 20% chance of ever being back to what he was for us under this manager. I think a lot of this manager's, Peter Schmeichel said it. He's controlling everything from the sideline. He's what pass the play, and when the player on the pitch that affects the most is the number 10, the creative player. You
yeah,
cannot tell them what pass to play. When we had Dennis Bergkamp, there's no way Wenger would have told him what pass to play, because he would have been looking at Bergkamp going, who am I to tell him what pass to play? He knows what pass to play. So for me, if you have a number 10 in your team, he's the one player, especially, that you don't tell him what to do. You just let him go do what he wants. And that's
yeah.
what was happening to him in 22, 23. So I think maybe under a fresh manager, maybe, but I just think he's lost something. And it's very hard for players to get that back. They normally do need a move, or they need a new manager. But I'd love to see him back to what he was.
Yeah, we've had. I mean, I was actually you watch videos from Martinelli a few years ago. He looked like he was a lot more free on the pitch, like he was
Mm-hmm.
just enjoying his football. I think
Mm-hmm.
Arteta will obviously tell him to play a certain way. I think in recent years of managers that we've had, whether that's like Wenger, I can't comment too much on Emery, but I think with, Wenger would probably just tell the players to just enjoy the football and play keep doing what they're doing. So I think with Arteta, he is quite an obsessed with these sort of things with how we play. I mean, it's hard because some of our players have still continued to be really good. I suppose some of the players might not suit the system anymore, suit how we play anymore. I think with Martinelli, like, it's just his finishing for me that needs to be better. To be that fair, though, I think at Liverpool he does have not a bad record against Liverpool.
Very true,
so that's probably a reason why I think Arteta would start him. I don't mind him starting. I mean, I do prefer Trossard really, but I think Trossard's probably going to come off the bench as well. Obviously, with Madueke, he's not had a bad start to the season. Obviously, it's only two games right now. But do you think now Saka's injured, do you think he's going to be playing on the right, or do you think he'll stay on the left?
No, he'll be on. I think he'll be on the right. I think he was brought in to play on the left. People acted surprised, but there was already something that come out from a year before, the summer previous, that he had tried to sign Madueke because he sees him as a left winger. But this thing with Martinelli is kind of, it's funny to me that Arteta keeps sticking with him, because he's proven in the past that he doesn't quite trust him. Because even in 22-23, as Aaron always says this, in 22-23, which was Martinelli's best season, Arteta still tried to sign Mudryk for like 100 million to play out that wing, even during Martinelli's best season. So I don't think he's ever had full faith in him. I think he loves him for the way he tracks back. So I think we'll see him at Anfield for that. And like you said, he has a good record there. But I think a lot of the going forward, his record at Anfield was he just had Trent's number. He knew that Trent couldn't defend. He knew that Trent didn't like someone running at him. And when he ran at him, he put the fear of God in him. But with Martinelli, it's kind of a tricky one. But Madueke will start at the right, I think. I think it will be Madueke and Martinelli, obviously Gyökeres. And I think Odegaard's fine to play. I think he's fine to play. I think he just bruised his shoulder and they just said, right, let's get you off. Because he played on for another 10 minutes. He was doing the whole shaking the arm thing to loosen it out.
You could see that,
If you've cracked a collarbone or dislocated an arm, you'd pass out with the pain if you were doing it. So I think he's fine. I think he's absolutely fine. So I think you could basically pick the team. The only thing that I would say is don't play Calafiori at left back, because granted he started okay, but when playing against Salah is a lot different to playing at home to Leeds.
Yeah,
it's a lot different. So I would be playing Timber at left back. But the only thing is, that can't really happen now that I'm saying it, because Ben White isn't fit. He hasn't even trained. And I think the Ben White injury is a lot worse than people are saying, by the way. So it would either have to be Calafiori or Lewis Skelly, I'd say. And I'm pretty sure he'll go with Calafiori, but he's going to have to play well against Salah. Salah's going to be up for this one after his sort of slowish start to the season.
That's what I'm nervous about, because I mean, I always said last season Calafiori was great going forward, but defensively he was, I wouldn't say liability, but you couldn't rely on him to not make their mistakes. But I think with him, it's been a season. Obviously, people will have their own opinion, but I want to see how he does this season for me to have a proper idea of him, because he had injuries last season. I mean, he could stay fit this season and have a really good season. But at Liverpool, I'm a bit nervous, like you said, because he can get caught out defensively at times. And obviously, United and Leeds, they are tests, but it's not like Liverpool that's going to be so difficult. But yeah, it's with Ben White, because I mean, I love Timber. I think he's been great, and I'll be honest, I was surprised Ben White did start on the first game of the season, because we've not really seen him as a starter. I know Ben White used to be a starter, but I think these injuries are catching up on him. I think Ben White's unfortunately going to be a player that just has a lot of injuries. We've got that problem around the team. But yeah, I don't know what we're going to do at left back. I mean, I think Arteta's going to stick with Calafiori. If Calafiori does a great job, then credit to him, fair play. But if he doesn't, it will sort of go bad on Arteta, and it'll be maybe up to him why he played him. But I think the left back, Zinchenko is technically part of the team, but he's more just there. Hopefully we'll move him on at some point, but it's just him and Lewis Skelly that we've got, and I'm hoping we do get to see more of Lewis Skelly, whether that's in midfield or just in the team somehow, because I like him. I think he's good. I just got a few questions here. Obviously, big up to chat. I will read out any questions you guys have. Would you have taken Garnacho over Nani?
Oh, that's you know what I mean? That's which one? You don't have to say which one's worse, I suppose.
Yeah.
No. Do you know what? Over them, I take Madueke because Garnacho's just a troublemaker, you know. And I don't mind
Yeah.
a bit of divilry in someone. I don't mind someone being a bit of a troublemaker as in challenge the manager, but I think he's more about the PR and stuff like that. So I would. What a bad choice, but I take Madueke.
Yeah, I think Madueke. I mean, I don't know how many goals he's going to get in the season, but I think he's going to be um a decent enough player for us to be maybe excited about. I'm hoping he does get us a lot of
I think
goals,
it's the
but
price tag, Sophie. I think if he had been cheaper,
yeah,
we'd be saying he's a good squad player. If we had got him for 22 million or something, you go, okay, fair enough. But because it's 52, we're going like there's better players out there for that price. So I think the price tag has put unnecessary pressure on him in my eyes.
yeah,
I think it has.
it's it's weird because yeah, it's hard to see it like in so many ways because I don't mind how much we're paying, but it's obviously it's not our money, it's the club's money, so it's about what we're doing. But
Mm.
I do get you want. I mean, I look at players maybe like a Havertz. I don't think he's probably been worth 65, but I
No.
think it is money. I mean, if he was like you said, if he was a bit cheaper, it'd probably tie that he was probably more of a squad player. I think because of
Mhm.
his price, I assume he is probably going to be a starter, and he started to obviously being a starter as well. I just want to read out some of these questions as well. Obviously, big up to chat. Obviously, make sure you're liking this video. Obviously, on my channel, Gonna Gossip TV, and please go over to Shane's channel if you're on here and do subscribe to him. I got a question here from Joseph. Question to Sophie and Shane. What do you make of fans who say Arteta hasn't been backed when he has spent around 300 million this summer? I don't know who's saying he hasn't been backed really, because he clearly has.
I think in general that was what was thrown because they didn't go in January and
Yeah,
stuff like that. But it was about 800 million before this. Now that's just an excuse. He's been well and truly backed. It's just we haven't seen a window like this because we haven't had Berta, but we've had windows where we spent 150, 120. So he's definitely been backed. He's just the PR would sort of make people think that he hasn't, but he has been backed. They just say it for an excuse, I suppose.
yeah, he has. He has had plenty of time. I agree. He's had a lot of money, and to be honest, some of these signings have been great. I mean, we can all agree defensively, and obviously with Raya, we've got a great back line. Obviously, in midfield, I'm hoping that'll be good with Zubimendi and Rice. The attack is just going to gel a bit and take a bit of time. Obviously, about Saka as well. I did want to ask you a bit about him because I feel like every season that goes by, he does pick up some sort of injury, and I personally think Arteta does sort of overplay him. I mean, there's certain games you could give him a rest, like obviously the FA Cup, the League Cup, and he doesn't have to play obviously a full 90 minutes. Do you sort of worry about him? Continuing to get overplayed because obviously the season has just started, and I wouldn't say he's been rushed back. He's had pre-season, he's had a bit of time, but we have obviously relied on Saka these last few years with the goals because on the right hand side that has definitely been our biggest threat. The left has always been a bit of a weaker side, but do you think that's a bit of a problem right now for Arsenal with like Saka being overplayed?
Yeah, well, this is a bit of a touchy subject with me because I'm very, very adamant that like he wasn't. We can look at this season and say, well, he wasn't rushed back, but he was rushed back last season. He was
Yeah,
rushed back for the Madrid game. He got 3 months off for an injury to take 6 months, and even then, I was at the game against Fulham when he scored. And everybody thought, right, he's fine. He's come back. He scored, but he was playing off adrenaline, and even since then, you can see that he's not right. Pre-season, you could see that he wasn't right, and then the game against United, he looked, even his running style was different because he was rushed back. It's a hamstring injury. You can't rush him back. And me and some of the older fans are looking at the likes of Michael Owen. We're looking at, the likes of Jack Wilshere and all these players that were rushed back from injury with that sort of injury. They're never the same again. And I
yeah,
got quite emotional on my channel the other day, right before the Leeds game. And I was saying, after the United win, in between the United one, the Leeds one, I was saying, I genuinely think that he's lost 10 to 15% of his burst of pace that he will never get back. I think he's been rushed back, and I think it's permanent damage. And then again, in that game against Leeds, when he got injured, he burst through a couple of players and he sprinted. And I turned around to my wife who was watching with me. She's Arsenal mad, and I said, he's finally sprinting again. And then the second he did, it was gone. So I do worry that this could be permanent with him, that it's going to be always the same. He's going to get rushed back, injured again. And you kind of have to look at it. If it's another hamstring injury, which it is in the other leg, it just seems odd that Arteta's come out and said it'll be a month, and if you move forward exactly a month, it's Man City at home. So I worry for him. There's evidence of it there. Like Timber came out, I think it is why he was dropped for the first game, because of that interview he did at the end of last season, where he said before the PSG game he couldn't even walk, and Arteta made him play, and he didn't train all week and he made him play. And then, Ben White, Arteta came out himself and admitted after the first 3 months that he had needed a knee operation. So he's not afraid to play players who need operations. This is what happens. You get last season's injuries and you get this season's injuries, which are going to be really bad again. But yeah, I do. I'm sorry. I hold Arteta very accountable for what's going on with Saka. I think he's treated him terribly in my eyes.
It's hard as well because, I think there has been times, which probably is down to him and Edu, where he's probably not felt comfortable. Ranieri has been sort of the option to come on and play. But I don't think Arteta's probably felt like there's anyone that could come in and do a good enough job in replace of Saka. And that's obviously their fault for not bringing someone in to do that. But I think that's probably why Saka's had a lot of time. Saka does deserve to be playing a lot of football, but I think it's hard. Yeah, it is hard. I think every injury that he has, I do worry that it will knock him physically, maybe knock him down a bit, and he might not be the player he was. He had a good game against Leeds. Obviously, he got a great goal, but it's just really frustrating, isn't it? Havertz is another one. He played a little bit and he got injured again. Why do you think we're having so many injuries? Do you think it's maybe these players getting played too much? Do you think it's just anything in particular?
It's training, intense training, and non-rotation. For me, when there's a team getting a lot of injuries, not just because it's Arteta and I'm not his biggest fan, any team that's getting this amount of injuries, it just has to fall on the manager. There's no other way to put it. You only have to look at that Timber interview, like I mentioned, and he said that he couldn't even walk, and he was told you have to play. And you mentioned it there with Saka. There's so many games through his time at Arsenal that he could have been rested. There's so many games where he could have been subbed off after an hour. There's so many games. We were playing Lons a couple of years ago. We were 5-0 up at half time. He played till the 86th minute. There's just no need for it. Against Preston away last season in the Cup, he brought him off the bench. We were 3-0 up. He brought him off the bench. Let's tell him to stay at home. So I get it when there's not a big squad and stuff like that, and you have to keep playing these players. But he has sort of taken advantage of him, because Saka's still only 23. It's very easy to forget how young he is.
Yeah.
So he's impressionable. He loves the club. He'll do whatever the manager says. And I just worry that he's being damaged now, because Arteta came out, I think it was last year, the year before, when Saka had broken the record for most games played on the trot, and he was smiling in the interview, and I was thinking, you should be ashamed of yourself that he's played that many games in a row. He's only a kid. He shouldn't be playing every game. You need to take him out sometimes. So I do feel he's taking advantage of him, and it's when things like this start to get leaked, like the Timber stuff, that you do realise that I don't think Arteta takes medical advice on board as much as he should. I think when he gets told the player's in the red, he goes, no, he'll be fine. Because Havertz now is more surgery. Again, he was rushed back. Again, it was the original injury was from being played too much. He tore that hamstring in warm weather training. I'll leave it at that. But someone that I shared the screen with a lot of views, big up the views, the legend, he said that he used to say this last season when we were getting all the injuries. He says, we haven't been unlucky with injuries this season. We just got really lucky with injuries the 2 seasons before that. And I think that's a good point. We got really lucky. But now, last season and the start of this season, we're getting the effects of the 3 years before that, where the players were just getting played over and over and over again. And it's sad to see. I think if people think last season's injuries are bad, they need to strap in for this season. They're going to be a lot worse, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do agree. It's a good point as well, because I think, I know in a few seasons ago, especially when we were going to get top 4, we missed out. I think Tierney got injured one season and Saliba got injured. And yeah, it's hard. I think you should always have cover there anyway. Whether you're, when we're going for top 4, that season was awful when we missed out on that. But I think if you need to have at least one player that is gonna replace any other player. I think now we've learned a lesson. We've brought in a few defenders to play as well. I know people are probably thinking, why are we bringing defenders? But I think Arteta does like to play that sort of style, and I think you need a cover in a lot of positions. And yeah, I think it's hard to see players get overplayed so much. I mean, I know when he's young, he's developing. Maybe he's not at Saka's level right now, but I think he's still a good player to
Yeah.
sub on and give that chance to. I know last season that we saw him have moments and he sort of got dropped, and now he's getting more minutes. He's obviously signed a new contract as well. So yeah, I just hope that we get this as a lesson to learn for Arteta. And like, we're not saying we shouldn't ever play these players, but there's times where you don't need to play them because
Yeah.
we've got a lot of players now, especially with the new signings coming in as well. So I'm hoping that this will mean we do, strengthen as well. Coaches overplay at every level. I can tell you that it can be. Yeah, I do get that. It's hard. Good question actually from Darren. Do we think Berta has a bigger say than we thought? A good question. I don't know. What do you think potentially?
Well, you know what? It's been a roller coaster for me on this question through the whole summer. I've been, oh yeah, he's got loads of power. Oh, he's got none. Oh, he's got loads.
Yeah,
I'm starting to think he's got a good bit. He has systematically sort of trimmed away Arteta's support system. He's taken, he's got a new sort of assistant manager now beside him in Heinz. I think that's that's Berta's sort of that's his he reports back to Berta. I think Heinz reports back to Berta. Oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. Let's see how he gets on. He's a few people out of the board have been plucked away. So I do think he has. I don't think he could just walk in and sack Arteta, but I do think that if he goes to the board and to the Cronkies and says it's time to get rid of him, that they go, right, it's your call, let's get rid of him. But I do feel that when it came to transfers, he was told, get in the ones he wants, unless they're crazy, then don't. And if you can't get his first target, then get you have a second and a third and a fourth. The way all big teams do, they go, we need a right winger, and then they'll ask the manager, who do you want? And they'll say, well, I want this guy. And then what if we can't get him? Okay, then this guy second. And if we can't get him, this guy third. Where Arteta goes, I want this guy. And then when they can't get him, he goes, well, then I want nobody. We'll just go into the season. I'll buy me someone and someone else in another position, So now Berta's going, well, no, you're getting one because I don't want to hear any excuses. And what made me think that they're trying to get rid of, to literally let him know that there's two reasons that this is his last chance, is that in press conferences recently, Arteta's been saying, we have to beat United. We have to win big, no more long-term. He's never said anything like that before. He's always given those word-salad answers and tried to protect himself by going, oh, well, some people's view of success is different. Now he's saying, no, we have to win. So I think he's been told it's win or bust, mate. You either win something or you hit the road. And then as well with the Havertz thing, the second he went down injured, Berta pulled the trigger on Eze, a player who, by the way, I don't think Arteta's wanted. I don't think Arteta wanted him. And he's pulled the trigger and said, look, no more, because Arteta probably went and go, oh, look, my backup striker's injured. Look, maybe next year, sort of thing. And Berta's gone, no, here's a new player. I don't want to hear it. In you go, do your job. So with Eze coming in, I don't think Arteta wanted him, because it will raise the question of dropping Odegaard, especially if we start losing a few games. And he's not good with being pressured in press conferences. So, look, I think Berta's job is to either make him succeed by giving him everything he wants, which then in turn, if he doesn't succeed, will prove that he can't, because he's been given everything. So I think Arteta is feeling immense pressure this season. So he should be. It's about time he felt under pressure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think if you look back at last season, I mean, the summer, January, it was interesting because I remember Reece Nelson, you went out, and I thought, you know what, we're going to have to bring someone else in, because if he's still on loan, we're going to bring someone else in. And, you brought in Sterling in. I think if you brought Sterling in years ago, it'd be different because he was a much better player then. But I think with Edu and Arteta, we have had those moments where we bring in players, especially Chelsea players, that are past their best. And I mean, it's crazy how quick the Eze thing went, because, to be honest, when he was going to Spurs, I felt quite deflated about it. I felt like if Spurs were going Eze, we needed like a Rodrigo to bring the excitement back for us fans. And I think, I don't think we would have made a signing if we didn't have Berta. I think he's definitely been a big part in that. And that's how we should be moving. If Havertz is injured, you have to bring someone else in. That's a game changer. I think we should have brought in Eze even if Havertz was fit. But I think think it's shame we are being a bit ruthless, and it's a good conversation to have because I think Arteta does like certain players, that's Havertz, Odegaard, but I think you just have to drop some players when they're just not playing good enough, even if they are the captain. A good point here. I reckon Arteta is worried about Berta. With Edu, Arteta had the power. Exactly, looks like Berta's being top perfect badge. Yeah, it's a good comment as well because I think I'm sure they've both had fairly polite arguments in a way. I'm sure they've disagreed on many things, and I think you've got to really, like you said, and from what you said, from what Arteta said, he does have to make it right this season. I do really wonder this season with like the ownership if Arteta won like an FA Cup and we finished second, what they would do. Because I think for the Cronkays, I think they definitely see top four as potential success, and we know that isn't really success. That's probably like if you have a bad season, that's probably the worst you'd get. But yeah, I think this season I'm with you. I mean, last season, I'll be honest with you, I said if he doesn't win anything last season, then there's no excuses. So I think, I think for me, it's like it's difficult because referees have part to play, but I don't think that's a big part in why you don't win something. I think it's only a
No.
small part. I think the reason why we didn't win last season was the summer. We didn't have a good summer, and ultimately, that is obviously why we're in the position. So. Yeah, I think it's a good conversation, but we're going to have to see as well how we get on. The window is still open. I'm expecting us to obviously, you mentioned Kiev Euro, so I'm expecting us to maybe make some more outgoings happen as well. But obviously, big up to Shane as well. Big up to chat, obviously. It's been great to chat with you today. Do you want to just tell people that might be on my channel where they can find you and what sort of content you do?
Yeah, no, listen, big up for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Big up to the chat as well. Yeah, I'm Shane Gooner. My channel is same name. Every morning 10:30, I do the breakfast show. I will have my panel show tonight, which I hope to get you on sometime, Sophie. If you would love to, if you would please grant me the privilege. But yeah, I have the panel show tonight, the Bruised Banana at 9 o'clock. I will be on with Jezza now in a bit on his channel with Lee and I think Kenny Ken maybe as well. I'm not sure, but definitely Lee and Jezza there. And then yeah, so Shane Gooner, head over there. Hit the subs and make sure you're subbing and liking to Sophie here. She does great work over here, spitting absolute facts. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love getting it. Normally I talk to the people that would be on my panel would be fellow Arteta outs, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
But it's nice to get the perspective of other people and you go, right, okay, you know what? Maybe things aren't as bad as I thought they were. But listen, absolutely wonderful chat. I really enjoyed it, and thanks for having me on. It's been an absolute
pleasure. I loved it. It's great chatting with you. And yeah, I think it's always good, for Arteta because I'm very much I'm just in the middle. I just say how I see it. I mean, there's people
That's the way to do it. It's all you can do, Sophie.
Yeah, I mean, it's as hard as I said before. You do get up and down. There's moments where you love him, and there's moments like, what are you doing, Arteta? I think the thing is like there's a lot of fans that I think get attached to managers and players, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, Alan Wenger when he was here, it was hard to see him go, but I think now I just want Arsenal to do well, and honestly, it's been great chatting with you, and obviously, big up to everyone as well. It's been great. I know I've not read all your comments, but I've just really appreciated all of you being here today. Obviously, like I said, if you're watching here, please go over, subscribe, Shane Goon. Obviously, if anyone wants to subscribe to my channel, here it is. But yeah, we'll definitely do another video soon. But hopefully, obviously, we'll beat Liverpool this weekend, and we're excited for that game as well. Big up to Darren, big up to everyone that's joined in. It was great to chat with you all. And yeah, take care, everyone, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.